You're here to receive a very special psychic prescription, much like a weather report, for how to best work and play with the universal energies that will be present this week. And that's the week from the 11th of July to the 17th of July, 2020. I'm Kylie Savage Psychic, and this is the weekly Oracle card reading. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. I would love for you to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you get notified of when these videos come out. And if you've been watching along for a while, thank you so much. I love getting likes, I love seeing all the views, and I love feedback, and I do respond to your comments. I also share a link to each week's video on my Facebook page, which is Kylie Savage Psychic. So go over there and give that page some love too. Okay, this week the question I'm asking for all of us is, what guidance and messages may we receive right now that are for our highest good and the highest good of all? And I'll be reading from Colette Baron Reid's Animal Spirit Oracle and the Crystal Spirits Oracle as well. Okay, and if you don't know about it already, Colette is running a 7 Energies challenge and she's bringing out a new deck. It's available in August in Australia called the 7 Energies Oracle. I've signed up and we did day 1 and it was wonderful. I really appreciate Colette as a spiritual teacher. She has so much knowledge and wisdom and she's so generous with it. So, yeah, definitely look at Colette Baron Reid's website, her Facebook page to sign up for that. Okay, I need for you to just take a moment, take a breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, and just intuitively choose a number between 1 and 6. And you can do that now. Right, got your number? You remember that because that will be the number of the card whose message is just a little bit more relevant for whatever's going on for you in your life right now. Remember to post feedback in the comments. I love to know how these readings are resonating with you and what your takeaways are. Okay, if you chose card number 1, we have Spider Spirit, and it's in what we call protection. So if it was upright, this is what we're looking at. And the message is, make your dreams real. All right, I'll turn it back upside down. So everybody watching this video knows what the message is about. And actually, I'm going to read this one. I think I have it here, the right page. Right, so the anchor card, that sets the story in motion. Right, protection message. Are you expecting your dreams to weave themselves into reality? Are you stuck in the sticky web of weaving dreams but never following through? Can happen to all of us. The thread of intention isn't enough to make dreams a reality unless you do your part in the weaving. Spider Spirit wants you to know that your plans will remain ephemeral in your head unless you commit to being productive and industrious, for Spirit will not do it all for you. Boom, boom. Magic needs to be instigated. So begin to make your dream a reality by taking action together. Together. Today, remember teeny tiny baby steps. This is how we do it. In the direction, in the right direction, that's how our dreams come true. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to sacrifice? Can you release your limiting beliefs? Your dream is worthy of weaving. Today is a day to choose one small step, teeny tiny baby steps, towards your dream. Remember, Spirit is your weaving partner. You just have to be the first one to bring the thread to the loom, then continue to do your part. Okay, the other message in here as well is when Spider Spirit is in protection. For me, Spider energy is all about creativity. It's about the web. It's about seeing the interconnectedness of all life. It's about taking responsibility for our energy and our creations. And yet what it's also saying is that, perhaps your creativity, for whatever reason, is being a little bit blocked lately. Or, perhaps there are just other things in play at the moment and it's not the right time to be creative. So you need to examine what's going on for you and your life. Is it fear that's blocking you? Are you, heavily invested in something else and the timing is just not quite right at the moment for you to be creative? Or is it that, you're stuck in that over analysis paralysis and you can't pick a dream to do some work on? And if you're in that situation, what I always say is it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Just pick one. Pick one thing and take one teeny tiny step of action towards it. That's how you unlock things and free things. Now, somebody else I'd recommend, if you can relate to Spider Spirit's message and protection, is Jennifer Loudon. She often runs free challenges and free Facebook groups where you can dive in, and she talks about getting your scary shit done. Jen is an expert at unlocking creativity and getting you out of that cycle of procrastination and stress and fear and into being creative. Now, I relate to this message as a creative person. I'm a writer and an artist. And the thing is, yes, often my thing is I can get so stuck in the ideas in my head and the thinking. And if everything stays emperor in the head, we have to take action on these ideas for them to ever become manifest in the world. And what this message is saying is Spirit will meet you there. And it's like you need to pick, because Spirit's like, well, I'm not going to force a creation upon you. I'm not going to force you down a path. That's not what it's about. We have free will. Remember, in this co creation partnership, we have free will, but Spirit's like, well, I need you to choose. And some of us get so stuck on the choosing. The other thing is, if we wind back a bit, many of us stopped giving ourselves permission to dream a very long time ago. Somebody criticized our dream. Somebody said, oh, you never get a real job, you never make real money doing that. And often for very creative people, it's been difficult and challenging to make their creativity, to monetize it. And it's not always, it's sort of like, well, if you can't monetize it, well, then your creative ability isn't valued within your society and culture. A lot of us got that message. So the thing is, too, we may have stopped the creative flow of ideas and the creative flow of action, taking action on these ideas a long time ago. So we need to go way back and give ourselves permission to dream again, to understand, accept, and love ourselves as creative beings, and to get back into this co-creative process. And remember, it's a process. It's not a one and done. Like you're not going to do something then everything's fixed. We're going to go in cycles and peaks and valleys with this stuff. Sometimes I'm on a, co-creative manifestation cycle and I'm in the up cycle and things are really happening. It's all fantastic. And then, something else might happen. I might get tired and down. And look, I'm really taking on board Spirit's message today. I can hear the message loud and clear. It's like, Kylie, are you listening? I am. And the thing is, yeah, so it's a cycle. Sometimes we're going to do this really well. Sometimes, other things are going to be more important and take up our time and energy. And sometimes it's going to take a little while to get back into things. And then we'll be in that upswing again. So understand it's cyclical. This is a process and we're all doing the very best we can. Okay, now the qualifying card for that is Smithsonite. So if you chose card number 4, isn't this beautiful, from the Crystal Spirits Oracle. What I want you to know is whenever a green crystal shows up, the message is at, its very core is always about healing. It's about heart healing, about emotional healing, and it's about saying, perhaps we are in a bit of a rut with our creativity, with our co-creations, with our manifesting. Perhaps we're in a little bit of a rut. Perhaps we need to take care of our emotional needs and also maybe our physical needs. Maybe we're feeling run down, tired, burnt out, stressed. And Smithsonite is saying, you're okay. Everything is going to be okay. Maybe perhaps you need to take some time do a little bit more healing. And look, just to give yourself a really big break and say, it's not about what other people think about us or what they think about our creations. We need to kind of take back control and own our power and step into that and say, what I want, what I desire, what's in me, which is asking to be brought out, to the outside. that's okay. It's totally worth it and it's a good thing. And I need to acknowledge that and value it. Because if I don't acknowledge it and value it, who else out there is going to? You need to understand too that blocked creativity, like Brene Brown says, unexpressed creativity, I'm probably screwing up this quote, is not benign. Those things that are inside of us, which are longing to come out and be expressed and come alive in the world, when we suppress them and we shove them down, we deny their existence and we do a lot of stuff to try and cover them up. They stay inside our body and in our psyche. They can come out sideways like naughty, delinquent children if we don't channel them properly and see their birth into this world safely and securely. We've got to take responsibility for our creations and for the innate creativity, you know, our innate creativity. I'm saying the word creativity a lot. That's getting through. I will just quickly check the message on that one, which was 51. I would not be able to survive without post-it notes. Hey, Smithsonite. So it's about rebirth from chaos, evolution, stress relief, emotional boost. I really relate to that part. I need that at the moment. Clearing of obstacles to growth. And remember, a lot of these obstacles to growth are within us. We don't really need to go outside looking for the blocks. They're usually within us. Nobody stops us more than we stop ourselves. From here to there can be a rocky road, one that may even seem to move under your feet as you engage in a process of healing with roiling emotions. Roiling. The journey can be confusing and unsettling and cause you to want to beat a hasty retreat. But Smithsonite Spirit's message is as clear as can be. You are haltingly moving forward into creating something new. And I really connect with that. I can resonate with that. Something is happening. If you feel if you feel as if you're unsteady and even going a little bit backward at times, it is only because you're being asked to look to the past and the lessons learned so that your next steps can be sure and steady. The ground is firm beneath you. The wind is at your back and the conscious universe is beside you. So there is no need to look for what may seem to be safer ground. The landscape around you is changing. You are changing, and soon you will feel much more settled if you heed the call of Smithsonite Spirit and trust that you'll be just fine. So breathe. Breathing is good. It's all going to resolve soon, and the obstacles you find daunting will disappear. What a great message. I love that. Okay. Moving on, if you chose card number 2, it's Buffalo Spirit, and they also came out in protection. Now, if you've bought a deck from Colette, or if you've been over to her website a while ago, she put out some videos on shuffling your cards, like really beginner stuff, because a lot of you may have never bought an Oracle deck. You may be very unfamiliar with everything to do with Oracles, so you may need, somebody to hold your hand through the basic steps. And a lot of people get so confused about how do I pick a card from the deck. So I haven't put out any videos, but I often do links to Colette. So if you are interested in that and you'd like to find those videos and you can't, let me know. I will post a link to you. Pardon me. Okay, Buffalo Spirit. So isn't he beautiful? Look at him there. When he's upright, that's what he looks like. And he is saying the abundant universe will provide. So you can understand the story emotion is all about abundance, and it's about co-creativity with spirit and getting clear and what's blocking us and what's not. So when he's in protection, what he's saying is we're getting into poverty consciousness or scarcity consciousness. And what that means is when we look around the outside conditions, all we're seeing is lack. We're coming up with excuses and generating things. Like I've been conscious, just since I've pulled these cards and I was listening to the message and I thought, oh, this message is really, this is landing for me. I have dreams and desires that I haven't been taking any action on, and it's from fear and it's from lack. Sorry. And I'm like, I have a dream that I would like to manifest, and I'm like, I saw an opportunity the other day and I was like, wow, that would be really good. And the first thing I thought is I'd never be able to afford that. That is poverty consciousness. That is scarcity consciousness, seeing lack. Now, buffalo, think about the great herds of buffalo which used to go across the Americas. The First Nations people, they connected buffaloes with abundance because the herds were so numerous and they traveled all over the country and they could live their whole life according, to the cycle and the migration of the buffalo, using every part of the animal and being sustained by it. And they were really in a partnership with the buffalo. So what it is, when we look at this world and we don't understand that it's an abundant universe, you can get down, in a park space or on your lawn and just imagine, couldn't you count all the blades of grass in front of you? When you look up at the night sky, can you count all the stars? When you go to the beach, could you count all the grains of sand? Think about abundance. Think about the abundance in this world. And why would you be disconnected from that? Why would somebody say you're not able to access that? And the thing is, what I was thinking about too, this is about getting reconnected with nature and with the cycles and the seasons of nature. And the thing is, when we are disconnected from it, and when, look at food production, like we have industrialized and mechanized food production so that we're no longer in touch with, where our food comes from and how to grow it and how it goes through a cycle and, what vegetables are best to grow in what season, all the rest of it. And the thing is, we're just seeing now, we can, because we're disconnected from that, we can just see, oh, I can afford this food or I can't afford that food, or I can afford to go here and do this shopping or I can't afford, and just be mindful of the words that you use. And the thing is, the more we have suppressed nature and gone against her, the less we understand universal laws which govern nature and which govern us. So we're not in connection with that understanding of abundance. So just be mindful of that. And sometimes, when you are learning all about universal laws and about manifesting, it can seem very materialistic and, there are a lot of mixed messages out there. But go back to nature if that makes sense for you and let nature teach you these lessons. Okay, there's Buffalo Spirit. The qualifying card for that, if you chose card number 5, it's Smithsonite. Now, what I really want to talk about here is healing relationships. And it's not just your relationship with others, it's your relationship you have with yourself, the relationship you have with yourself as a co creator, the relationship you have with the divine feminine. Now, if many of you've come up against, when you're doing your manifesting work, you've come up against the God word and it hasn't settled, it hasn't landed nicely for you. You've got history there, the word has, baggage, and you find it difficult to connect with it. Look at goddess energy. Look at connecting with the divine feminine energy. I'd highly recommend anything by Megan Watterson. Rebecca Campbell does lovely work on this. Colette does work on this. Yasmin Boland does great stuff. Connecting with the moon, that is connecting you with divine feminine energy. Look at how you can receive things. Now, the other thing is we're really talking a lot about giving too. And I've noticed lately, when you're in a cycle of, you're like, okay, I need to receive. I need to receive from the universe. I need to receive all my good. I've set my intention and I really need to be open to receive because I realized, my giving and receiving needed a lot of healing. And I could be good at giving and over giving, but not very good at receiving. And the thing is, then, I always work from one polarity to the other. So I got really good at receiving. And then every now and then, I get into like a funk, into a drought, like a manifestation drought. And the thing that always kicks it back off for me is giving. So I look around myself. What are the resources I have within myself? How can I assist and support somebody else? How can I share the love? How can I share the wealth? How can I invest in somebody else? Because the thing is, I want somebody else to invest in me the way that I invest in other people. How can I give likes, comments, shares? How can I give somebody an uplifting word? How can I meet them where they're at and encourage them? How can I just see them and witness them? That's an amazing gift. So we're not talking always about material support. We're talking about what are the resources within you? What is it that you can do for somebody else? So let's kick that off. The other thing is giving and nurturing to yourself. You're not a machine. Come on. We're not robots. You need to pour in the love, and sometimes we are the ones who need it the most. So get back into that flow. Surround yourself with a bit of pink. Surround yourself with a bit of pink crystals. It's very much about heart healing. We had a green crystal and then a pink crystal. So that tells me this message is very much about focusing on the heart energy, expressing that and internalizing that, and planting these seeds for manifestation in our heart. David G is excellent at teaching you all about that. So go and look up his meditation, sign up for his newsletter. He will give you a free meditation each week in your inbox, and he talks about planting the seed of intention in the heart center, which is really beautiful. If you chose card number 3, we've got Armadillo Spirit. Isn't he just gorgeous? I've never seen an armadillo. We don't have them in Australia. We have echidnas, which are not armadillos. I always want to go and see one. They're just so cute. um and I always think of the armadillo cake and steel magnolias. Anyway, armadillo spirit, set healthy boundaries. Now, what I want to talk about, yes, we need to set healthy boundaries with others. Yeah. If we've been depleting ourselves, if we are in a bit of a funk, what if we have been breaking our own boundaries that we have with ourselves? I'm so guilty of this. So, what if we know and understand, we set a sleep hygiene um, routine up or a practice up, and we've just gone across it? What if your body is saying, you know what, you're tired, you need some rest. We need a bit more rest than usual because there's a lot going on in the world, and that sometimes manifests as it drains our energy. And what if we're just pushing past our own boundaries and staying up late or exercising more and not just really listening to our body and what it needs right now and our soul? So if you need more rest, I'm giving you permission to have more rest this week. Okay, Armadillo Spirit's also saying, you've got that soft center, the hard shell, but with the soft center. And I heard Colette talk about probably in the 7 Energies Challenge, we did an exercise where we visualized ourselves in a cup and you pushed against the side of the cup and saw it was flexible. See, because boundaries aren't brittle, otherwise they're restrictive. Boundaries need to be flexible, but not, whoa, flexible. I did it and I was like, I could push the cup all the way out. I'm like, oh no, I just need to be able to push it like it's soft foam, and see my hand be able to go into it a bit. So the thing is, think about how you are not upholding the boundaries you have for yourself within yourself, kind of thing. Are you respecting all your own physical needs and all of that? And that translates, the better care you take of yourself, the more you respect your own boundaries and live by that, the better you'll be able to exercise boundaries with others. Now, when people have crossed your boundaries because you start to build resentment. You feel like someone has, criticized you or pushed on you or dominated you, and you weren't able to assert yourself at the time and be able to resolve the conflict. You've gone away, rah, 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 that person's such, rah, rah, rah. You've become explosive and resentful. What happened? You broke your boundary with that person and you allowed them to do that, to express that unacceptable behavior. Unacceptable according to you, okay? So, look, boundaries, tough stuff. We're all learning about boundaries. It's a work in progress. You can never learn enough about it. But if that was you, card number 3, just know boundaries will be a focus this week. Mars is in Aries for ages, which I'm loving because I'm an Aries. Yet I'm really being mindful, and I hope that I don't forget. Mars in Aries can be fertile breeding ground for conflict and clashes, and I have a really hot, quick temper, and I've got to be mindful not to get into arguments with people. Okay, if you chose card number 6, this is petrified wood. And I was thinking, okay, petrified wood, it's wood that, over time, it's almost it's turned into a crystal, it's turned to a rock, and it's like, sometimes, I was thinking actually fermented foods, but anyway, sometimes it's like nature can take something, something that was like a living tree, take it and over time transform it through pressure, through, outer conditions, through circumstances, and turn it into something different. And in that different state, this something can become completely altered, yet so beautiful. It's really, really precious. Okay, I will quickly look up petrified wood. The message is patience. It's we really need to understand, going back to manifesting, that things happen in divine timing. And just because your staff hasn't showed up, remember, it's not that it's not on its way. That's what Smithsonite is saying. You know, it might look rough, it might look rocky. That doesn't mean nothing's happening. It's saying, don't long for things to be in that more peaceful state, because right now, even with things the way they are, this is you're in a good place, and things are happening. So petrified wood is saying we need to understand it's in divine timing, and we need to allow our unfolding. We need to allow these circumstances. This co-creative partnership with spirit, we need to allow it in and let it change and transform us. And you don't want to be changing and transforming overnight, because, then those changes are more difficult, that happen so quickly. They're more difficult to integrate. And sometimes slow, steady change over time, really, that's the best kind of change, because it's the most lasting. It's the most evidential, once it's happened, then you look back and you think, wow, this had to happen for that to have to happen, and that happened, and then look what happened now. And the thing is, I've learned that for myself. Sometimes the best changes do not happen quickly. We can have quick spiritual shifts and insights, but the most radical, transformative changes take time, and they often happen through outside forces and pressure, but layer by beautiful layer. So when you get tempted to rush, or feel like your energy is depleted, perhaps it's pausing, resting, getting back into the flow, getting back in sync with spirit, and just trusting that things are happening, and it's all happening within divine timing. I know that's challenging, and yet it's kind of a perfectly worked out system if we trust it. I'm trusting that you got something brilliant to take away from this reading. I would love to hear all about it. And if you would like to book your own reading with me, you can now do it for online booking. I've put I have shared it on my Facebook page. I have to go and put it into the menu. I have an online booking service, but if you would like to book your online reading at the moment and you're not sure how to do it, just send me an email, kyliesavagepsychic@gmail.com, or hop over onto my Facebook page, find me on Messenger, all the places I'm at. It's also at www.kyliesavagepsychic.weebly.com. You will find the link there under the readings page. You can book your reading straight away, and I will see you then. Have an amazing week.